to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're here in Manchester, just seen the weigh-in between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith.
Where was you yesterday?
I wasn't here yesterday.
I missed you, man. I just thought, I missed you, that's all.
I missed you too, but there were a couple of the guys were already here.
Yeah, but they're not you. I said this to Coogan as well, and I said this to him as well, but don't feel special, my brother.
We've just seen the weigh-in. Very, very intense. What did you take out of that?
I think the plasters were drawn off yesterday. Things got personal. Things a man should say. You know, there's a rule. There's a line you don't go past, and I think they both went past a certain line, whereas this has become personal, and that's a dangerous thing. Can be a dangerous thing when you're fighting, especially in boxing, because what happens is when you start to fight on emotion, you stop using the brain. You start reacting on just human behaviour. So these guys, as Steph was, I just thought, you know what, you've got to pull them apart because it's only going to kick off. These two have to make the weight. Certain things have been said to wind each other up, and there's too much on the line. For Liam Smith, he can't afford to lose to Chris Eubank Jr. As far as he's concerned, he's a gimmick. He's the son of, Chris Eubank Sr., so therefore, really, and I think Junior knows that from day one when he's turned professional, he's had to work twice as hard to get the respect most fighters have because of his name, and so but you know what, people are forgetting he can actually fight. And that's probably been a godsend for him because they don't respect him because of his name, because of where he's from. They realise he's actually better than what he is. But bit tense. Job's done now. These guys, it's now the trainer's job to get into their fighter's head, to settle them down, to say, listen, get your shit together, get your emotions boiled over yesterday. Now we need game plan. We've been working for months of this. And so this is now down to the trainers and how strong they are, how much influence they have over the fighters.
You said they both crossed the line yesterday. Let's just go back to the press conference and some of the things that was said. Liam Smith said not accused him, but said that he's never seen him with a woman. He didn't use the word gay or anything like that. He just was almost indirect, trying to imply.
You know what he was trying to insinuate, but I suppose. And so let's get it right. Liam Smith is not homophobic. Liam Smith was trying to weaponise a suggestion that Chris may be gay because he's not seen him with a woman. He's trying to allude to that. So nobody of any persuasion has been insulted. The mistake Liam made was he was trying to. If that did have an ounce of truth to it, that wasn't for Liam to expose that sort of stuff. That wasn't. You crossed the line there. That wasn't. And so that's where he went wrong. Nobody was insulted in regards to your sexual preference. So I know there's been a lot of backlash on Liam to say he's homophobic. Yeah. What did he say wrong? If I was Chris, and I've said it before, if you're comfortable in your sexuality, say, what if I was gay? What's your problem? And because then it's a triple backflip on Liam and he looks bad. Chris bit and then responded with an assumption of how Liam's affairs are with his wife. And so you've crossed the line. You just don't do it. Either way, you just don't do it. I think today Liam said, well, he made it personal. No, Liam made it personal. And Chris responded. But nobody has said anything against anybody being gay. Nobody has said anything against anything like that. So nobody's homophobic here. He just made a suggestion. And he tried to weaponise the fact that Chris was trying to hide something. So please let's not get gassed. Let's get PC trigger happy. There's none of that business in here. That don't exist in here. It's 2023. Come on. And so both fighters at this point they're emotionally charged. They want to get to each other. The whole point of saying and doing mean things as a fighter coming through is to try and get under your opponent's skin so he doesn't think tactics. That's it. And that's what they both did. They crossed the line in what they used. I remember, I think I did it with Carl Thompson when I boxed Carl. I'd never met his wife, and I knew he went to a club called Mr. Smith's in Warrington, and it was just a hazard of a guess. And I was speaking to John Ingle really loud at the press table, and Carl was down there, and I said, yeah, I went to that club. There's a club around here called Mrs. There's a club in Warrington Way, Mr. Smith's, wicked club. And I can't remember what Carl's wife's called, or was called. I can't remember, but maybe it's something like, I don't know, Jane. Yeah, and I met this girl called Jane, and I set the seed. My idea is to get under his skin, so he's pissed off. So even home, he's going to the phone like, wah! I've got to mash his head up. That's what these guys are trying to do. So, and I'm quite sure after all this, they'll apologise, because there is not a man on earth that can say they're in full control of what they say and do when they get angry. Not a woman on earth. So when you're Bex, you say some stuff and think, shit, I shouldn't have said that. That was one of those occasions. So nobody was insulted or ridiculed in regards to their sexual preference. It's just that's where the line was. That's where these boys stepped over the line. They were just going to a point where it's getting personal. And for Chris, for saying that, you could match up a man's family just because you're trying to play games, doing that kind of stuff. So they're the lines that are being crossed.
Mind games continue today. He wore a Man United t-shirt, obviously Liam sports Liverpool. He also wore the rainbow
I like that.
armband as well.
I actually like that, because if you're comfortable with your sexuality, a man can say whatever he wants. And I'd have done exactly the same. I like what Chris did there. I thought, nice move, nice touch. Again, probably the only thing that let him down is when he came back at him with the wife thing, because he could have just switched it around anyway. But that's down to with maturity and experience, and plus a spur of the moment, you realise what you should have said after the event. But I liked how it worked out. But it was a bit heated, it's a bit tense up there. For Liam to say that he's not, Chris hasn't got him under his skin, come on, of course he has. And you can see that Liam Smith is never like that in front of camera anyway, or when a mic's in front of him. But there's a lot at stake. He can't afford to lose to to Chris Eubank Jr. He can't. And I'm quite sure the pressure's not just on him, but from his brothers as well. The Smiths are a family of fighters, of boxers, and something like Chris beating one of them, and that's like, nah, I can't run. So these are no nonsense guys. Something like Chris is not their kind of guy. He's flash, he's flamboyant, he's whatever. He'll say stuff to get the headlines. These guys are safe, straight shooters, no nonsense kind of guys. So I understand where Liam's coming from, but both fighters were rattled yesterday. Both fighters have gotten under each other's skin. Chris even admitted it. He's giving me more drive and motivation, but it makes for a great fight.
Finally, prediction on that particular fight?
My prediction, I'm going Chris Eubank tight points win. I was with Liam all the way up to Wednesday, and I just had to keep looking at videos, looking at the situation, looking at timing. I think Liam Smith is not the fighter he was, even though the fighter he is today beats most fighters on the fringe world level, and timing might be right for Chris to say, all right, I'll try this. He's got the size. He's just got to make sure he chooses the right tactics.
We look forward to it. A great night of boxing all the way down the card, live and exclusive on Sky Sports Box Office. Before I let you go, just a couple other things. If quick fire, Conor Ben. Obviously, this whole cloud over boxing still about failing drug tests, and he's come out and said it was contaminated, and there's still a lot of investigation going on in the background, and nothing's come to conclusion. Eddie, I saw a clip yesterday where he did an interview, and he spoke about how the governing bodies need to almost hurry up, and we've got a time frame that if it's not done by this particular time, then we'll just carry on fighting and move on. Does this need to be resolved Does it need to be cleared for the sake of boxing and for the public before he gets back in the ring?
So the governing bodies, one, have a responsibility to do the right thing. And whatever findings they have, whatever excuses are there, if it is not justifiable and makes sense, they make themselves look bad. The governing bodies make themselves look bad. So they've got to make tough decisions. Now, I don't know what can be said and what's found and what hasn't been found or what's been deemed to say, well, this is what happened. I just don't know what can be said where people are going to think, all right, yeah, I get it now. Whenever Chris fights, regardless of what the findings are, there's going to be a cloud there for a short while. And it's happened with other fighters in the past. And they'll get over it. They'll get through it. And so the fact is, he's got to do his ban. If he decides to go another way, and the board decides to say, no, you know what, that is not good enough. Our findings are our findings. This is what we're sticking to. Then swallow it. We can only speculate about what can and can't be said. But I'm just struggling to wonder, well, why have you not said anything then? Well, what is it? Who are you waiting for to say something? Because whatever you say is still something for the governing bodies to have to sift through and deal with. So you say, well, actually, it's this. The governing bodies are looking at it. But that's all it is. We can't really comment until it comes out, and I'm quite sure they'll get some stick with it.
Eddie also confirmed that Anthony Joshua was in America and he started training camp. Strong rumours are that he's in Dallas training with Derek James, who also trains one of the Charlo brothers, and also Errol Spence. Good move to move out of his comfort zone and not just move from Sheffield to Loughborough, but England to America.
Without a doubt. He needs to be in an environment that he can't control. He needs to be in an environment that all he can do is train and learn and live that life. There needs to be an environment that he has a choice to walk or stay, and obviously staying is the right answer. It's so good move, and if he's joined it with Derek James and thought, this works for me, you know, I respect you respect me, you're bringing something new to the table, then one good move for him. That's what he needs. He needs something like that.
Eddie's talking about he needs to go and fight someone in the top 15. Names, obviously that being, have we been distracted?
Yeah, by your boss. What is wrong with your child? Damn! I was saying such nice things about you earlier on. I'm a liar, ain't I?
Jermaine Franklin's been named, Otto Wallin's been named, and a few others. But obviously the goal is, and Eddie's made it clear that we want the Dillian Whyte rematch, and we want it after one fight. What's that implying to you, that they want the Dillian Whyte fight? What is that showing you?
I think Eddie's hoping to get AJ out as often as possible, just to get his confidence back, get the self-belief, the confidence back from the fans as well. He needs to get the fans back behind him. I'm not saying he's lost his fans, but AJ as a fighter needs to believe in himself again. and this isn't a few months off fix. I think this is a long fix. I think this is going to take a year for that to happen. So I understand what he's doing. It's just getting the right opponent. Got to be smart with it.
They have this cliche in boxing where a good big guy beats a small.
Yeah, good big and beats a small little.
Fury-Usyk.
Yeah, I've said it already. I think Fury beats Usyk. I think Usyk's slicker. He's a slicker version, but a smaller version of Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury is still capable of doing that and more. I think Tyson Fury is just too big for him. I think he can do everything that Usyk does, and he's used to dealing with bigger hitters and harder opposition and more dangerous opposition. I think Tyson Fury beats him. I actually think Tyson Fury could be close to stopping him.
Can we welcome the UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou into the boxing heavyweight scene?
Anybody can come into boxing. It's a case of when it's the loneliest place in the world when you get in the ring. So if you're going to mug yourself off, everybody thinks you're a mug. If you're going to come in there and make a statement, good for him. So if that's what Ngannou wants to do, then good. But we can only judge when he gets in the ring, and unfortunately, he's going to get critiqued. he's going to get praised. That's part of the game. That's a dirty, rotten boxing game it is.
Absolutely. Johnny, always appreciate your time, my man. Thank you. We look forward to a great night of boxing. Yeah, sold out, and the only way you can watch it now is on pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view, Sky Box Office, and you're better than Coogan, but don't tell him.
It's on camera. Johnny Nelson, IFL TV, thank you very much.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife for saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.